It's J Chip here, recapping another win. We are absolutely on fire right now. You cannot touch this tool and what it's providing to us. Absolute beautiful reads on all three picks that we had in our 3-pick power that I gave out for free in yesterday's video. As always, guys, give a like on the video, sub, and turn the bell for the notification so you don't miss out on any of the plays, any of the slips, because as you guys know, or if anybody's playing PrizePicks long enough, you know how quick they bump plays off the board. By the time the video comes out, you really have to get in these plays ASAP. With that being said, let's recap this slip here. Levine, play of the day, gave it out to all my socials. Links for that to be in the bio. And Zach Levine finishes with 3 rebounds, right under the 3.5 mark that we had him under for. Then we go to NHL. Didn't sell us this time. Finally, we went with 1 NHL play. He finished with 0 points, perfect reads. We even had him, I pulled up the line chart, all the hockey lines there. He was third. I think he was buried in the bottom 6. He was like third line, wasn't on the first power play. So it was good if we were targeting a hockey player's under. I explained more of that in the video I posted yesterday. And Jordan Clarkson just finished under 13.5 points with 12. Looks like Brooklyn kind of kept it competitive against New York. Not sure if he ended up getting that many minutes because he's not a starter. He actually comes off the bench. Another narrative that proved true. And this is going to round off another 5-unit profit slip. That brings us to a total of 15 units profit since the start of these free videos. And I'm pretty sure I gave out maybe 1 flex play. The rest have been power plays. If 1 play chalks, we're done. It's just a -1 unit on the slip. So we're going to keep rolling with the power plays. Yeah, pretty good that we have, after all these videos far, that we're up 15 units. If you've been tailing, no matter what your unit size is, I have to preface this video again, I'm limited on this account. Every slip I play for you guys on this account is just going to be $5, kind of just a good way for me to track consistent unit sizes and seeing where our progression is with the slips. As always, you guys are more than welcome to apply more pressure, put more units down. You want to make sure you're keeping that kind of same unit size so you could track your progression. And once you hit a certain mark, like let's say you're starting with, I don't know, $500. Once you hit $1,000 in your bankroll, then you could bump up your unit, whatever the amount is. So with that being said, let's jump right into this video here. As always, I'm using the parlayers tools. They have the player prop optimizer, basically compares lines from apps like PrizePicks back to the market, all kinds of sharp sports books, and other fantasy apps like PrizePicks, including Underdog Fantasy and DraftKings Pick 6. And then we got the Sharp Money tool. This compares the PrizePicks lines, again, back to the sports books, back to sharp exchanges, very smart books like PROFITX, like NOV, basically super accurate lines on the opposite player's direction. Let's say for this Mahomes play, PROFITX has him as a +109 underdog on his over, and because we want to be on the favorites, we take the opposite direction of the over, and then you want to be on the under, which coincides with the market read, right? So this is basically just an added layer of data source, kind of just an added layer of data for us, added layer of confidence for our picks. And I've really been liking far what the Sharp Money tool has been producing as an addition to these tools. Again, before we just jump into the video, I want to say that there is still the site-wide free trial going on. There's I believe 2 days left. Today, all of tomorrow, to get in your 3-day free trial of both the tools I just explained, Player Prop Optimizer and the Sharp Money tool. You could get in anytime before Wednesday, November 26th, 10 p.m. Eastern to sign up. And then from the time you sign up, you get a full 3 days to play with the tools, make your own slips, and kind of get accustomed to all the data here. With that being said, again, let's jump into this tool. Let's jump into this slip right away. I want to see what we're cooking for today. I checked the slate before for my VIP slips. Didn't get as much volume as I would have liked, only because there's like 3 NBA games. Obviously, it's middle of the week. Not even, it's Tuesday. We're still kind of at the beginning. Not a lot of NFL plays, maybe some for Thursday night football. Besides that, not anything crazy really happening here. Off the rip, I'm seeing a couple plays that I put in my VIP slips earlier before I started recording this. And look at this, guys. We still have Jake LaRavia up for under 11.5 points rebounds, -133 market favorite. You see here, he's offered at 10.5 on DraftKings. It's already a points rebounds lower than his PrizePicks line, so we're getting a good discrepancy there. And I believe he was on the Sharp Money tool on PROFITX. He is. He's one of the top plays. He's a +120 on his over. So what this means is that the very sharp, smart bettors on PROFITX are betting against this underdog over line at +120. And what does that mean? Well, it means that we should be on his under, which is the favorite read at 11.5. And again, we know that the books also agree with that side. We're going to pray that he's still on the board, because I know they've been kind of taking his line on and off. He is still on the board. And yeah, we're going to roll with that with the first play. I got to move quick because, as always, these guys there has to be a PrizePicks employee watching these videos or following me on the socials, because every time I have a slip or a pick just waiting, kind of like locked in my slip, they bump it before I could even submit it and get it out for you guys. So we got to move a bit quicker here. Another play I'm liking, and that actually matches up perfectly with Laravia, is Kawhi Leonard rebounds over 4. He's a minus 107 on his over 4 rebounds. Everyone that knows me and been following the channel and my socials for a bit knows that if there is a minus line under our green guy here, under our Archer, if there's a minus line here, meaning there's juice on a push line, a push prop, one that's not ending in 0.5, it's just a whole number here, rebounds over 4, we get a minus 107 juice to his over. And why is that good? Well, because we're basically saying that, look, most likely outcome is to hit 4 rebounds. Fine. Now that we get his projection of 4, we're okay, because once he hits 4, he doesn't lose that pick. It just reverts down to the nearest payout. But if I just see here, Kawhi over 4 rebounds, here he is. We'll take him over 4, and you see there's a lot of juice. Well, there's decent enough juice on a lot of books pushing up for him to hit 5 rebounds or more. Here, DraftKings has him as FanDuel has him as a minus 110 underdog to hit 5 or more rebounds. That's perfect, because he's still favored to hit 4. And what happens if he hits 4? We don't lose a slip. It just reverts down to the nearest payout. This is kind of more of a safer play, if you will, because yes, he still is an underdog to hit 5. A lot of these books are basically telling us that he's around a 50-50. Like this is, I'd say 51-49, maybe 48.5% on his over to hit 5 or more rebounds. We take those odds every time. Like I said, worst case, if we fall back on his favored 4 rebounds. And another thing I like checking is these alternate lines. And if you do, you could check that they actually have him as a goblin projection for his 3.5 rebounds line. What does that mean? PrizePicks believes he's a heavy favorite to hit 4 rebounds. Perfect. And what is his nearest demon line? It's 5.5. So because he doesn't have a demon line at 4.5, they're basically telling us that the likely range for Kawhi is from the over 3.5 goblin, so that 4 rebound range, and the under 5.5 demon line, which is that 5 rebound range. Where does that leave us? Anywhere from 4 to 5, which is where we want to price Kawhi Leonard at. And that's going to secure our second pick. I got to move quickly. Fortunately for us, we actually do not have to search hard for this third pick, because it's Taco Tuesday. They dropped the first taco of the day. I believe it was, if this would load, it'd be beautiful. It's going to be Lamine Yamal for over 2.5 shots. Not shots on goal, just shots anywhere. You could sky it as long as it's in the direction of the other team's net. We're going to roll with Lamine Yamal over 2.5 shots. It's only a 1-shot discrepancy or 1-shot discount from his original line. You see here he's been crushing it the last 4 games. Again, the last 5 doesn't really matter as long as we're getting a discount on his original line. And yeah, this is gonna round off our 3-man slip with the taco involved. We got Jake Laravia 11.5 points, rebounds under. We got Kawhi Leonard for over 4 rebounds. And I forgot to explain that correlation in that game. If Laravia gets more minutes on the court, and let's say he's putting up shots, let's say Laravia is missing shots, it's to his under on points because he's not scoring the basket, and Kawhi could pick up some more defensive rebounds potentially on Laravia's missed shots. So that kind of, correlates pretty nicely. We're not going to get shifted on that because I believe it is a power play and it's very slight correlation anyway. And then we get the Lamine Yamal discount, the taco play for the first taco of the day. We're going to roll this for a 6x, another 5 units when it hits. And I'll recap in tomorrow's video. Have a good one.